How's it going, everyone? This is Will from Nifty Method. I'm here with the chief, Lindsay, and we're talking about marketing for small businesses. I'm super excited to talk to Lindsay, and without further ado, I'll let her do her own little intro.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lindsay. I am the CEO over here at Nifty Method, and we're so excited that we've got launched into the marketplace, the Marketing Orchard. This has been something that we've been tossing around internally for quite some time because I have worked for nonprofits in the past, I've worked with associations. I've been a small business. It's tough when you're getting going, when you're trying to make especially critical creative changes, need to happen. And you just don't have the resources from a financial or from a people perspective. And so the Marketing Orchard, with us out there helping you cultivate better creative and get that on-demand of creative services, you don't have to hire, you don't have to mess with paperwork, you don't have to mess with contests. You just go, ooh, that one. And if you want to do it recurring, awesome. We would love to have it recurring. But if you're just like, no, I just need that one, then just do that one. And no muss, no fuss. So this is one of those things that my small business startup heart goes, hooray, finally, I'm excited. Yes, let's do it. So thanks, Will, for having me to talk about it and how we can help, small business owners like us do more with less.
Yeah, we're super excited to chat a little bit. Why don't you go ahead and tell us what exactly you do at the Marketing Orchard?
So they don't actually let me do anything at the Marketing Orchard. It is a running agency joke about Lindsay's lack of creative skills. Now, I can help from that doesn't quite look right perspective, but really, truthfully, we've been, exceedingly lucky on the creative side of Nifty as a whole. And then as a result, since many of our teams that have been incubating and powering the Orchard in its early days is our talented creative staff. So I am there to essentially help ensure that we get out in the market, we talk about it to our network, to talk about it from a small business. If anything, I've served as a target persona around, what are the challenges I faced as a small business owner? What are the issues and the opportunities that we have in providing the service? So they don't let me touch Illustrator. I would break it. Adobe refuses to even take my money because there's our chief creative officer goes, no, you can't. She's not allowed. There's no Photoshop. It's still a miracle I have a Canva account at this point. But, I am here to make sure that we get the word out, which is good and bad all in the same way, I think.
Yeah, and that's a point we're going to keep hitting on today, right? We're coming from the small business perspective to help you run your small business.
Yeah, I mean, the 3 or 4 big things that we always want to lean into from a small business, startup, nonprofit association is talking about that resourcing perspective, number one. Resources in time, resources in money, resources in people. And how do you effectively go in and make changes, get into market, grow your brand presence? There are so many pieces that when I first started out on my own as a solopreneur many years ago, as a consulting solopreneur, I just decided to come up with a brand name that was like red because I have red hair and LMB because it's my initials. I could remember it, but it was difficult to put it in a URL. The social media was there were so many channels. From a consistent brand identity perspective, it just never synced in a way. I was successful in spite of myself. And I gave up in using an Upwork or a Fiverr because the contest, it was so overwhelming to figure out, I could do the creative brief where I was like, that's what I think I want. But then going in and looking at these massive things in front of me, or if they wanted me to pay a monthly fee to work with them, even at $399 a month. When you're getting started and your capital is zero and you have mortgage payments, you have childcare payments, you have insurance payments, you have, shoe budgets, maybe not you, Will, but me. I had shoe budgets, travel budget, the things you needed to do to go out and do it. I didn't need to add another recurring cost or another over $100 cost. Sometimes I just needed to buy one thing for it. So resourcing is that first one. The second one is capabilities. Going back to the contests, you're putting a lot of trust into the freelancer network. And yeah, there are portfolios, but I without my illustrator and creative experience. I'm a CEO, and before that I was a trainer and an event manager. I'm good at what I do from a marketing perspective, but I am by no means a creative expert. And so that capability of judging what is not and what is good design, it could be good, but good is subjective. And when I compare it to how I want to be from a uniqueness perspective, I was like, oh no, there's choices. I have decision paralysis, right? So resourcing, capabilities. The third one is cost. This is the one where, we always know where this conversation is going to go at the Nifty level when they're coming in and they're really looking at each line item. It takes quite a bit of an investment when you're starting up a business, and you go to the Small Business Association or the SBA, you look at all of these other resources, everything says, and it's rightfully so, because you need that element of ownership of like, you got to put the money in too. But as many businesses, nonprofits, and associations are recovering from the pandemic, some are still in the swing of it, that cash flow that's always been there. Sometimes you could look really good on the books, but you're waiting on back payments for people who haven't yet made good on the investment they made with you. So it's a real supply chain that, yes, you could, but is that money needing to be allocated somewhere else when you just need social media templates to update the new things you've gotten, restaurant menus that you need to make a change for because you've just opened your doors again and you need to worry about hiring waiters rather than figuring out the new menu design, a logo because you've suddenly figured out somebody else opened up down the street. Like, there's just all of these things. The fourth one that you need to think about is this going to get done in the time we need it to get done in, right? You can do a lot of things online, but many of the freelancers that you work with on some of the online portals work in different time zones. And so, if you've got someone working in an offshore or nearshore capacity, that naturally adds in just that much more time that you're coming around. So you found the resources, you've judged the capabilities, the price is right, and now you're waiting. And there is nothing worse than waiting, because though you've got other things, this was the one thing you were trying to attack. And so in your mind, you could have built up in such a way, right, that as a small business owner, you're like, oh Lord, the decision paralysis has come back again, because now what? And then the fifth one is, okay, now what do I do with it, right? And that one's kind of an open-ended one. Maybe you've got the design, but how do you put it into action? One of the things that's a differentiator from the Marketing Orchard for many of the other ones you find on the marketplace is we don't just give you the designs. We say, here are some places that you're probably going to be most successful. We offer a small business audit. We offer a startup audit, a nonprofit audit. There's a lot of conversations right now about, is the brand we've had for our event, like our nonprofit annual event, the right one? For the farmers market that you've run every Sunday, but you're seeing some changes. It's not something where you could go in and completely do a very large competitive analysis on your own, but maybe you just need someone to hold your hand and say, no, that's the right direction. And, our in-chat service that you have with our developers, with our designers, with our team over here, that's another resource in your business network that just says, no, you got this. You're going to be able to do this, and we believe in you. Because 9 times out of 10, once you've solved the first 4, that fifth one's all you're looking for is another resource that will, hold your hands and jump off the cliff with you. So.
Yeah, definitely. Just to backtrack a little bit, I know there's always a fear when we talk about like budget-friendly options that it's somehow like a lower quality. Why don't you give us a little bit? I know you touched on it a little bit, but a little bit of your experience in the past.
Yeah, I always talk about it kind of like consignment stores or when you go antiquing. I have a massive antiquing and consignment store issue. I also have 4 kids, which puts me in secondhand shops quite a bit. I use the heck out of Facebook Marketplace. In fact, my beautiful antique home is filled with antiques from the Book of Faces on purpose, because 3 of my children are boys, and bless you all, but you are destructive. And so, it's still amazing quality things. It's just that I have this feeling about, if I invest $1,200 in this new rocking chair, and then I come home and my 10-year-old has slit open the rocking chair to see how it is built, immediately my investment goes down, right? I can find the same option at a better value point that fits the circumstance I'm in right now. Someday my brand might be so massive that I can call, or I can work with Nifty, or Nifty can be like, we don't do that for you. Go talk to our friends at Whedon and Kennedy. Go talk to Fleischer PR, But like, a lot of us do not have multi-million-dollar creative budgets. Some of us don't even have in the thousands dollars creative budgets, right? There's no shame in finding a value offer, and it doesn't make it any less quality. And again, where the Marketing Orchard is really positioned to bring small business owners like you value is that we are incubating this inside of our actual enterprise Nifty Method agency. We work with large brands. We work with creative directors who go out and do have those kinds of budgets. That's the quality and the baseline of the designers that we hire and work with. What we want is to provide access of that talent to you from a value-driven perspective. And, for us, we've built the inventory to approach that from economies of scale. So you're not having to go through 1,700 contracts or contests to find one that's going to give you the one thing when you just need a brochure site built with a quality developer and you're confused because Envato is overwhelming and there's 1,700 people in the WordPress world, right? You just need a menu logo. You just need someone to post your social media every month, right? Like whatever the thing is, we do that at Nifty or one of our sister brands under the Cat City umbrella. And so that allows us to say, we work with the big companies, get access to the talent. We wouldn't have hired and made them, staff if we didn't believe they could do the work. So here, go for it. Buy product, do great things. You got this. Like that's our mentality, because that's the one thing I always wished I had was I wanted that copywriter. I wanted that designer. I wanted that guy who did the amazing social media that made me like look at the Instagram ad and go, I should totally buy that. And that's essentially what we're giving you inside the Marketing Orchard right now. So
yeah, definitely. One thing I wanted to touch on was you talk about, right, things you wish you had, especially from a small business point of view. What are some like common mistakes that you see small businesses making today that ultimately you don't need to make?
Part of it's the AI generators, or not even knowing where to go for those generators, right? One of the things we see, I'll use our interns as an example, because this is something that happens pretty commonly. We see it in small business owners and interns. No disrespect to either of you, but it's about the same level of expertise. Typically, a small business owner is doing what they are good at. They are running their retail shop. They are running their training company. They are running their speaking business. They are doing hair. They are doing nails. They are fixing tires and, doing construction. They didn't teach them how to be marketing, creative, web developer people in college. That wasn't part of their skill set. You might have taken a few business courses, but like nowhere in there, you were like, here is the places where you go to do the things. Here is exactly how you do them. And just like all of the hundreds of thousands of hours you might have devoted to the skill set you get paid for in your small business, more than likely you've given it 15, 20, 50, 100 hours on the Googles. And the Googles has provided a dearth of things, but you're like, crap, which one do I choose, right? And so you are at almost that intern level from a marketing and sales perspective. And that's a big problem that I faced in the beginning, because I was like, I need a logo. I'm going to go on Canva and I'm going to create a logo. I like these colors. But the problem is that Canva has the same 200 template sets. And yeah, they're always working on them. But like my logo looks like quite a few other small business owners out there. Or I don't know how to look at it like a creative. That's another issue, is like looking at it from good design. When we think something's wrong as a small business owner in the beginning, looking at our creative, we go, you know what? What's wrong is it's too small. We should make it bigger. That doesn't solve the problem, right? But it's bigger, and we're like, yeah, that could work, right? Not knowing that like the graphic we used was not, pixelated correctly. It's too blurry or something. Or the graphic we used is something someone found online and is unlicensed and could get us in trouble from an intellectual property perspective. I mean, there's a number of things there that, I don't have the training to recognize what I needed. I worry about the uniqueness. So that's another challenge that we're finding. And then I can't optimize on it because I know I'm doing well, but how do I get discovered more? Do I make better creative? Is it something where I need social media? Is it my website presence? All of it. We hear statistics for small business owners all the time that buyers, no matter where they are in the B2C, like the commerce world, like you go online, or if they're doing bricks and mortars and retail, it's something like 7 to 10 times they will research you. 80% will research you online before they come visit you. If someone's new in your town and they need to find something, they're going to go to the internet first. And so if you don't have a solid visual identity online in the way that the internet goes, here, these people, right? Or if you do have a visual identity and there's 4 choices and one of these things like the Sesame Street song doesn't look like the other and is obviously low quality from a graphics perspective, that challenge then becomes the issue of, do I want to go there? Maybe not, right? And so that's a constant challenge that we faced. It's a highly competitive world. When I was first starting out, still highly competitive, if not more after the pandemic. And that's the biggest challenge is, do I look the way I want to look? Does my brand represent the quality? Can people trust the brand from what they see? And so that cultivating better creative on your behalf allows the experts on our team to take your really great idea and to make it something that's going to be proud in our portfolio and in your pocketbook, because essentially that's what it is. You're making an investment in your financial bottom line.
Yeah, like you touched on it multiple times before. What are some quick bullet points for things that startups can do today to start building their brand and start launching a marketing campaign?
I mean, the top 5 things that we always preach: SEO. Right? It begins and ends with your website. And inside of your website, a well-oriented, architected website, which is filled with a bunch of scary words. Architecture scares the hell out of small business owners, right? But just like when you build a house, you don't want a crappy foundation. You don't not want the high quality insulation, especially if you're building something that's close to someone else, because think of all the uncomfortable conversations you could hear, right? You need to have a good website that tells the value proposition of why your small business is successful and tells them both in words as well as visuals. If it's hard to use, if it's tough to click through, if it can't get found by search engines, if it looks or is using duplicate copy from other people's websites, these are all things the Google gods punish you for. And there's no amount of ads that is going to solve that problem for you. But you're a small business, so do you have the ad money for it anyways? Probably not, right? So SEO and a solid website is the first one. The second one is that visual identity inside of it. I used to, back in that previous pandemic life, and hopefully soon, go to 100 trade shows a year. My business card, I kept a stack this high. It was easy, right? It had my contact information on it. It was an easy way to look and feel. Those business cards were thick and beautiful. And I flinched at the cost, not only to design them up front, but also to print them, because I was like, that's a lot of money, makes me kind of nervous. And every single time I gave that card out, almost they would be like, wow, this is quality stuff. Look at that. It was clean. It was easy to read. No one ever was worried, what do you do? It was right there. And that's the type of thing, is what kind of quality are you saying with the stuff? Is your stationery look like that? Do the little video snippets that you have on the internet look like that? Is it something where your identity brings together the same look and feel across all of your channels, any social media, any email, any representation by your team? Making sure you have that starts the journey that your website is going to finish for you. So those are the top 2. The next one from a bullet point perspective is ask for help. And don't just ask Google, right? Build your network. That's a place where there's a ton of opportunities online for you to go and find it. We can be one of those. One of the things we talk about at Nifty Method, and we're going to continue at the Marketing Orchard, is not buy from us. Like, if you do buy from us, okay, that's great. We'd love for you to be a client, but at the same time, have a cup of coffee with us, have a cocktail. That's the easiest way to get to know someone. Going back to conferences, you see people in sessions and you're learning a lot, but where the big conversations happen are in the hallways or at the happy hour later on. People are connecting, they're learning about each other, they're buying from each other, essentially, each other's knowledge, that pick the brain conversation. You know, we're not zombies over here. We don't want you to take all the nutrition from our brain and leave. We want to build a two-way road where there's like conversations that happen, so that Sandlot rules, right? When you speak of us, speak well. And we'll try to do the same thing for you. We talk about a lot of our clients and customers that we work with, and many we don't, that are just influencing partners because we may not have a need for their product, but somebody in our network does. And that's how great relationships should work, right? So great website, having someone look at your design and validate that stuff, finding great networks. The fourth one is talking a lot about burnout. One of the biggest things that you see online right now is that everybody's teams are quitting. If you're a small business, especially a small business that's trying to reemerge in the middle of this nightmare that has been the last year and a half, you are doing awesome, right? I don't know if anybody in your team has said that to you, but the CEO spot, the owner of the company spot, is incredibly lonely. No one wants to hear what went wrong in your day. No one. No one cares. No one cares that you have payment plans that you're trying to figure out. No one cares that you have product backups, that your waitress didn't show up on time, that your supply inventory chain is all screwed up because there's a giant boat in Suez that's all sideways. Like, they don't care. They worry about, am I going to get paid? Am I going to have these things? Am I protected? Am I safe? Am I okay? And so that one is, give yourself a break. Like, it's okay to go get your nails done. It's okay to take time off and hang out with your kids. It's okay to go camping for the weekends. It's okay to have that, relaxation moment, even if it's like watching a rerun of Game of Thrones season 5 only, or whatever the last one was before the terrible last season. So think about those ways where you can give yourself a break. And again, that's one of the reasons why we put the Marketing Orchard out there for these people, is you are keeping yourself up awake at night for things that you can't control or do well, largely because you don't know how to do them. Small businesses are built by people who were good at something, right? Someone goes, you could do this, and so you did it. And not only have you done it, you kept doing it. You kept doing it in the middle of a global pandemic. If you live here in the United States, in the middle of an insurrection, you kept doing it in times of uncertainty. And by God, you're still here. Like, that is nothing to sneeze at, my friends. So cut yourself a break. And then once you've done that, come back and look through things and say, what can I do right now? What can I do next? And then go back to that network that you've been slowly building and be like, and what else should I do? Because sometimes that's the easiest place is to hold up a mirror outside of it and figure it out. The final thing that we always say that's easy, like they don't want me to say low-hanging fruit, although that was the original tagline, is to really think about what is the low-hanging fruit, right? As small business owners, our plans have plans. You don't keep your business running because like yesterday or tomorrow, you're like, I have this thing I'm going to do. It's going to change our world, right? Like, no, you know what's going on over the next quarter. You know what the bank needs from you. You know what the customers are wanting. You know what staffing needs you need to make. But like, what's the one thing you could do from a marketing, creative, sales, strategy, social media perspective that you need to accomplish that you're not sure? It might seem small. That thing that's been niggling you about your social, the thing that's been upsetting you about the icon on your website, the business card that you're like, the logo is the wrong size, or I hate the logo. We are this and now we are that. Take it in little bitty chunks and take it slowly, because Rome wasn't built in a day, and great businesses evolve over time. There's a reason they call us startups, to the next phase, and then to mature companies. And in every evolution, we go through an iteration like a snake shedding its skin. So it's important to keep that cadence and to not lose sight of the ultimate goal of like why you started the company. I started Nifty Method personally because I wanted executive platinum status on American Airlines so I could travel anytime I wanted like that with like good style, right? And enough money to like send my kids to school. That's it. Like literally and truthfully, that's why I started Nifty. I happened to be good at marketing, creative, well, not creative, right? But like creative marketing events and strategy. And I was lucky enough to hire talented people in around me to do that. But our business constantly evolves. You know, we're undergoing some massive changes here at the company, largely because I had enough time over the last 2 or 3 months because of the talented humans we have on staff to sit back and go, what if? Why not? Where could we go, right? And because I delegated out these little things that were beyond my control, or my network allowed us to find situations for it, we've been able to find places for us to grow. And so that's the same thing we want to offer to you. Where can we help you grow from the areas we're most talented in and that we have the experts on demand for you to use?
Yeah, and we keep hitting on this point again and again, what you should do as a small business. And there always comes like this fork in the road for a lot of small businesses where it's like, do I use an agency? Do I hire and build out an in-house marketing team? When do you think you should choose an agency over doing an in-house marketing team?
You know, this is the answer that every small business owner hates. It depends, right? We actually have a really great couple of blogs on our website. You can find it at blog.niftymethod.com. And it's basically that. When should I work with an agency versus when should I hire a freelancer, which is different than what the Orchard is, right? And when should I work with a company like the Orchard? So, I mean, it depends on need. Are you needing a complicated illustration? Are you needing something that's going to last over several weeks, several months? You know, what are you looking for from a relationship perspective? We recently did a website redesign at Nifty Method where, you know, they wanted what was essentially a website migration. But as we got into it and had conversations with the small business owner, what she really wanted was a website redesign. She wanted an easier way for the way that her business had pivoted during the pandemic for her e-commerce buyers, where previously a lot of their traffic had been in person. They wanted to continue to take advantage of that and grow and keep the integrity of their look and feel. And for that kind of relationship, you really do need an agency partner. And there's so many agency partners out there. Some of them are very small, some of them are very big, but don't necessarily go off of size or money. Go after the one that feels right. Like, you need to have someone you can talk to. At the same level, the freelancer, it's almost like managing someone on your team, just they really are remote, right? You just have a little bit less control versus the Marketng Orchard, which is much more transaction-based. We're here to help you. We're here to support you. But like you go to the Costco or the grocery store or Neiman Marcus, you're buying a thing. You've given us directions around the thing that you want custom made, and here we are. So at each one, there's a level of effort it's going to take from you, the small business owner, or the team that you've tasked with moving forward from it. So look at your level of effort and look at the standards of success that you're wanting to assess against it. Some people just need a logo. Some people just need social media templates. Some people need so much more. And you need to determine for you which one it is. And if you aren't sure, Will has this calendar openings full of opportunities to talk to him about coffee and cocktails, or like figuring out exactly, which has been a running question inside our world, of what exactly is on the wall in the new apartment. Like all of those different things, right? Like, have a conversation. It doesn't cost any money to have a conversation. We're like sitting here, and if we can't answer it for you, we know a bunch of people in our networks that we can be like, we're not the right humans, but these humans could be. We'd like to do those introductions for you, because as a small business owner, sometimes the answer is we don't know. And an agency that is going to do the right thing is going to tell you, we don't know. Let us investigate that with you, or let's figure out options from here.
Definitely. And something where we touched on throughout the conversation, and something I wanted to reiterate for everyone before we close out here, is how we're especially positioned to help small businesses and startups, right? We launched Marketng Orchard specifically for small businesses and startups to get what they need that maybe paying a huge retainer for a big agency couldn't provide. So why don't you give us a little bit of details on that?
Sure. So let's just level set. for those of us who might not know, right? Like sometimes you speak the internal jargon. A retainer is essentially a relationship that has money tied to it, right? We say every month we commit this to you from a services perspective, and you commit to the work and the dollars. And together, it's almost like having your own in-house creative team. You just partnered with an agency who works with lots of other clients, so you get the depth and the breadth of their experience. Where the Marketing Orchard is different than that is literally it's productized. One of the things that drives me crazy about some of the competitors on the marketplace, though they're awesome, is that they require an ongoing commitment, or they require an upfront, right? And sometimes I don't know what I don't know as a small business owner, or I just need a thing. I don't want to keep a relationship up, but I want to do all the stuff. Like, I need you to be no muss, no fuss. The Orchard's designed that way. Now, if you find yourself in an opportunity where like these people were fantastic, we would like to keep them, then like we can talk about ongoing relationships. We have our social media templates. That's one where we do the design template, but we can also post, optimize your video, figure out ways to do your stories. Like that's a service offering we offer at the Marketing Orchard that we also offer at Nifty, but it's different price points because again, that level of effort. Right? But if you just like you're going on vacation for a week and you do your creative or your social media on a 1 week at a time basis, that's a great opportunity for the Marketing Orchard. You can come in and say, here's what I've done before. I need the next 3 to 5 social media posts to look exactly like this. And could you throw in some templates while you were at it? For the entire cost of less than $1,000, you now have essentially what is coverage and redundancy for this so that you can keep making money and keep building brand awareness while you go on that well-deserved beach vacation, right? Like that's an opportunity for you to take advantage of it. You don't have to go and do a contest. You don't have to look at other people's portfolios. You submit one creative brief and you're done. Right? Many of the competitors on the marketplace, there's so much more that goes into it. There's just a lot more management, or they offer up until where they can create the thing, but then they don't take the next step of posting or doing whatever it is. Here, we're trying to get you, again, those big agency services at that affordable small business price point. And we've made it boxed out where you can do it 3, 5, 7, 20, like let's figure out the right number. And that's what it is. We did a tremendous amount of research on the marketplace before we launched this live. And are all the products perfect? Are they going to be the right fit for everyone? No. But from what we found, from what we've heard from our clients, from what we've heard from the prospective customers we've had to turn away just because the budgets don't fit, especially in the last 2 years, you know, this we think is a starting option of 22 products right now that we know are going to be a good fit for the majority of small business startups, nonprofits, and associations. And we have another 10 to 15 that are geared up to come to help you get through Q4. So it's on its way, but you know, we think it'll be a fit. Did I forget something?
Yeah. No, you did not. We're super excited about this new brand, and I just wanted to thank Lindsay for coming on and chatting with us a little bit. Thank you everyone for watching at home. And again, this was Marketing for Small Businesses, and we hope to see you soon.
Yeah, don't forget to follow us online at the Marketing Orchard or at Nifty Method. Come by, swing by the websites, and we'll talk soon.